Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Webull. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. Now on this chart we don't have anything going on the long side. This is a short history and it is in an all-time downtrend. So we need to be prepared for easily further extensions lower, where I could even argue that this is actually an impulse forming to the downside, where we have a wave 1 complete and a wave 2 complete, where this would form a third wave to the downside. Now, if this really is to be the case, I would be watching for the ideal target for the wave 3 at the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, which is around the $1 level. So far, even to the current prices, we have dropped from the all-time high already 90%. Well, from the current levels we would drop an additional almost 90% only to get to the ideal target of the wave 3, which by the way could also be exceeded easily within an actual third wave of a larger proportions. Sometimes third waves do just go on and extend even beyond, for example, the 200% extension. But those are just some ideas, because right now we don't even have the clear evidence that this is a third wave going to the downside. We don't necessarily have the third wave complete, and it could still turn into maybe something like an ABC structure instead. However, right now an impulse is still available to us, and I can be tracking here a series of 1-2 setups that have occurred over this area, where we have a 1-2, 3 1-2 setups in this area, and here in the short time frame we can actually track an additional couple 1-2, maybe even 3, but let's say just 1-2, 1-2. Then this could be the third wave down, and we could be looking here at the fourth wave correction. And so far you may notice we haven't retraced necessarily deep enough within these wave 2 corrections, and this is actually quite typical within an internal wave 3 ongoing. This is typical behavior within a third wave of a third wave of a third wave, apologies, and so on. So even though we are tracking this as an actual third wave and here a wave 4, it may extend even further afterwards. Now what I want to see is actually the third wave develop and start the series of 4-5 patterns that we would expect to form afterwards for a more clear movement ongoing. But right now I don't have any evidence for such a pattern, and what I will be tracking closely in this area is this latest 1-2-3 that has been formed, and we can actually even draw this here on the chart. The rest is not very relevant because this is still a fragile structure, and if we manage to break above the correction or the resistance levels for wave 4, it is likely that this movement to the downside is not going to develop within an impulse after all. We may still form here a 1-2, but if we get such a deep retracement in another 1-2 setup that would be so deep within the structure of the wave 3, it is likely that it will not hold out in the end anyway. So what I will be watching and focusing on is the resistance area for the wave 4, which in this case is between the $8.1 level all the way up to the $8.7 level, where if we manage to break above the 50% retracement, it would be a signal that this structure may not in the end be developing as an impulse to the downside. However, I want it to be extremely clear, this is not a signal that the bearish movement, the downtrend has come to an end, that we could be looking already for long positions. For that, I would actually need to see a 5-wave move develop to the upside. Nothing less than a 5-wave move on this chart is acceptable for me for a potential long trade setup. And I just reminded myself that I wanted to also show you how perfect it is adhering right now to the current scenario that we are tracking, where we have here a 1-2 setup, where even internally here in the wave 3 we have pushed perfectly into the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. We have barely gotten a wick below it, but from that point we have started the larger retracement, the larger correction within the wave 4, which it is rather indicating that we are on the right track and we should be prepared for further extensions lower. Now again, I want you to remain with two things from this video. If we manage to break above the 50% retracement, it is a sign that the impulse to the downside is likely not going to play out. it is not a sign that this downtrend has stopped. And what we need, this is the second thing, what we need for a signal that we can be looking for a long setup is a larger 5-wave move to the upside. Nothing less is acceptable, nothing less is a high probability on such a chart to be looking for a long position. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.